Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we are going to talk about a very rarely spoken topic, which is the successful relations of India and Pakistan. We are going to see that these two countries have mostly been on war against each other, but this is the time we are going to see when there were times in history when both of these countries were friendly to each other and what kind of agreements and activities were there at that time. The front page is showing about those two major persons, leaders who were the cause of establishment of Hindu majority India and independent India, Gandhi and Nehru. On this side, this is Qaid-e-Azam and Allama Iqbal, the one who was the pioneer of the idea of a separate homeland, Allama Iqbal, for Muslims, and Qaid-e-Azam, who was the one who struggled hard for the establishment of a separate homeland for Muslims, a politician. So in this manner, let's move ahead and see what is next in all these. If we see what this portion was in the word history map, word map and location wise, this is basically, it was subcontinent which was one country in the beginning and it was under British India. And later on, when it was divided in 1947, it became in this shape. This was central one, gray one is the Hindu majority area, while this yellow one is the Muslim majority area. This was divided into three parts. Eastern Muslim majority Pakistan, Western Muslim majority Pakistan, and this was the central part was the Hindu majority area. So in this manner, we can, and non-Muslim majority area. So in this manner, we can clearly say that this divide in 1947 was on the basis of Muslims and non-Muslims. And Pakistan, interestingly, had two parts. This was West Pakistan, and very far away, almost 1100 nautical miles away, this was East Pakistan. So it continued working with this distance for a long time from 1947 till 1971. So we can see this part is basically of Bengal and Assam. And this one, this Western Pakistan, has Punjab, NWFP, Balochistan, and Sindh. So it is comprised Jammu and Kashmir. So it is comprised of different provinces, while there are some parts in East Pakistan also. So those kept working through 1100 long nautical miles sea area to work together. And in the beginning, this part was declared capital. It is Karachi, and it was the main central part which was working to connect both of these parts of the country. This picture shows that at that time, all offices, assets, material, everything was divided officially in a proper manner, and assets according to the proportion of area and population was which were there jointly in the central India. Those were given to Pakistan, and rest of those were with Indian government. Now let's see how these were successful relations, and when those were the times when both of these countries were successfully meeting each other. In 1947, when this partition happened, there were a lot of problems, division of assets, and many people were moving, refugees were moving, Muslims were moving towards from in Hindu majority or non-Muslim majority areas to Muslim majority Pakistan and Bengal, while from non-Muslims were moving from Pakistan to India. So in this migration, many of them were facing a lot of problems because of no law and order at that time. And there are very sad events of that time also. So at that time in 1947, Liaquat Ali Khan, who was the Prime Minister of Pakistan, and Nehru, who was working as PM of India, they had signed a pact in which it was decided now that these minorities, like those Hindus who were in Pakistan in the Muslim majority area and those Muslims who were in India in the Hindu majority area, they were going to stay in the same areas, and they will not be forced to migrate from their areas to the other areas to stop this kind of problems. So peaceful living was declared at that time, and those people who were running those Muslims who were running from Hindu majority areas or non-Muslim majority areas to Muslim majority areas because they were not safe, security was provided to them. Then in December 1948, a neutral tribunal was established and it demarcated boundaries between East Pakistan and India. Boundaries were marked at that time. It was already, India was once Bengal in East Pakistan was divided in 1905. So boundary line was there. It was not difficult to divide on the basis of non-Muslim and Muslim majority areas. Anyways, it was at that time divided. Then in 1949 and 1950, both countries signed a no war pact because in those days, in 1948, a war was fought here on for Kashmir problem, and those Muslims who wanted to be with Pakistan, those Kashmiris, they fought against Maharaja, and in this manner, some part of Kashmir was liberated. So at that time, because of the pressure of United Nations, though public of Kashmir wanted to be with Pakistan, but war was stopped at that time, and since then it is a control line. Now, another problem was there that India stopped Pakistan's water, so that was also successfully resolved in 1960. Pakistan was established in 1947, so we can see after 13 years, in 1960, a treaty was signed, which is known as Indus Water Treaty, and this problem was resolved with the help of United Nations. IMF and World Bank financed this project also, and according to this treaty, these rivers, Satluj, Punjab, because India, this is India, Satluj, Ravi, these were given to India independently. India can stop its water. They can do whatever they want with this water. Though these are coming to Pakistan, irrigating these lands, but it was decided on the basis of give and take. While Chenab and Jhelum, even that is coming from India, but those rivers India cannot stop. So those rivers were going to flow independently in Pakistan, which were previously stopped since the time of independence, 1947. Indus River is already is coming from China, that is independently flowing in Pakistan. So there is no problem with this. But the decision was made about these four rivers. So two were given to India and two were given to Pakistan. Along with that, these are the barrages, these green ones, and on the barrages and red ones are the dams. So at that time, dams and barrages were also established. Dams were helpful to uh, uh, develop electricity system in Pakistan and to generate electricity with the help of these water reservoirs, while these barrages were helpful to develop a canal irrigation system, perennial canal irrigation system throughout Pakistan, throughout eastern Pakistan in Punjab and Sindh, and to provide water to irrigate the agricultural lands of this Indus Valley. So the upper Indus and lower Indus plains started getting water. So in the result of this agreement, there were very useful and beneficial results for Pakistan. Agricultural and economy was boosted since that time. So this then in 1972, there was a war in 1971 between India and Pakistan, and East Pakistan was separated, as I told in the beginning. So at that time, 90,000 Pakistani soldiers who were fighting, who were there to support and protect the people of East Pakistan, they went to India as war prisoners because they did not fight on the orders of the government of Pakistan. And in result, those were there in India. So Zulfikar Ali Bhutto decided to bring those soldiers back to Pakistan because they were fighting for their country. They were war prisoners. It was a situation in which Mukti Bahani and Bengalis and Bangladesh wanted to be independent, and these soldiers were trapped over there and they were ordered not to fight. So in this manner, it was not their fault, and they were war prisoners according to Geneva agreements. They had their rights. So Bhutto went to India. He met Indira Gandhi. She's Indira Gandhi, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, and he discussed about the freedom of these war prisoners, which was agreed at that time. There was an agreement signed, which is known as Simla Agreement, and in result of this, then those war prisoners came to Pakistan. Then on 28th August, continuity of the previous similar agreement in 1973, then PM Zedi Bhutto signed another agreement, and it was decided that Kashmir issue will be discussed, and that will be resolved instead of fighting. That will be resolved by discussions, bilateral discussions, and Pakistan and India is going to avoid in the war in the coming years. So it was also a successful step at that time. On 10th of March 1983, both countries established a joint commission. Now, 1983 means it was the time of the next government. Bhutto's government was till 1977. In 1983, it was Zia's time, and General Zia had established martial law in the country. It was Army's government at that time. So in 1983, both countries, India and Pakistan, established a joint commission and decided to increase cooperation for industries and culture and in different fields of study. So in this manner, it was also a time when some betterment in the relations could be seen. Then in 1987, it was the time when Pakistan was seriously involved and was endangered because of its western border, where Afghan-Russia war was very intensely going on. And Pakistan was busy with helping those refugees who were coming from Afghanistan, providing them food, providing them UN aid, and protecting its western borders also. So in this manner, in those days, it was observed that India had started military exercises near the Rajasthan southeastern border of Pakistan. Where Pakistan was busy, that was busy on extreme northwestern and western border of Pakistan. So India started exercises on extreme southeastern side of Pakistan, where Rajasthan border was there. So it was a chance that, there was a threat that India could attack on that extreme other side of the borders of Pakistan, and it was difficult at that time to split the forces into two parts and send those so apart from each other and fight. So in this manner, Ziaul decided at that time to solve this issue in a friendly manner, and he immediately visited India. And there was a cricket match between India and Pakistan. He watched that cricket match. Later on, he spent some time with PM Rajiv Gandhi. He cooled down the situation, and that threat of war could be ended. So in this manner, it is known as cricket diplomacy. And in result of this, for some time, there were relations which were better between both of these countries. Then after Ziaul Haq, there was a time when it was Nawaz Sharif's time. Then it was decided, some situations were there when during Benazir's time, uh, uh, there were tries to develop better relations with India, which we are going to see in the next slides. Here in February 1999, when it was Nawaz Sharif's time, Lahore Declaration was signed, and it was decided that Kashmir issue would be resolved with negotiations, and relations would be normalized. Some dosti bus and better relations efforts were also done at that time, and a friendly train was also tried and started at that time. So this kind of activities were tried to normalize the situation. Again, in December 1988, both countries signed some agreements in Islamabad. It was Benazir's government at that time. In India, there was Rajiv Gandhi's government, son of Indira Gandhi. So both of the, and Benazir Bhutto, the daughter of Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. So there was there was some agreement signed between both of these prime ministers to cooperate in different fields like trade, art, culture. And it was also an important agreement was also decided at that time that Pakistan and India were not going to attack on each other's nuclear installations to confirm the security of public and the countries. Then in 2012 to 17, it was before that in 1999, Nawaz Sharif in both of these tenures tried his best to develop friendly relations with India, because Nawaz Sharif believed that India was so near to Pakistan, and if Pakistan wanted to develop its industries, India could be a good market for the exports. And in this manner, for business and export purposes, he always decided and thought that he must have good relations with India. So Nawaz Sharif tried first time when Nawaz Sharif tried his efforts for better for friendly relations. That was a very tense time when there was an army mission going on in the area of Kashmir to liberate Kashmir, and it was a successful mission in the areas of Dras and Kargil. And Kargil was a pass, and Dras is also an area which is in between mountainous areas, and these are very strategic locations between India and Pakistan to connect Kashmir's passage from India to the Valley of Kashmir. And these are the very important strategic points from where India is sending its ammunition, food, and rest of the facilities to its soldiers who are occupying Kashmir and doing all kind of tortures. So for helping those Kashmiris, it was a mission going on, and at that time to develop friendly relation in 1999, suddenly Nawaz Sharif decided and declared that army and forces must stop that mission, and in result, great loss of life in regarding the forces was seen. So that basically turned army and public against Nawaz Sharif, and it was this hatred against Nawaz Sharif's act was so much in the public that his government was overthrown, and even his supporters remained quiet. Then afterwards, Nawaz Sharif came back. He was exiled at that time, and he stayed in Saudi Arabia for a long time. Then he got another government in 2012. So during this 5 years tenure, Nawaz Sharif again tried to develop relations with Narendra Modi. Public and our institutions are not much interested to develop relations, but Nawaz Sharif himself wanted to develop relations. So he he invited Narendra Modi on his Lahore residence and exchanged gifts and tried to develop friendly relations, which was again not liked by Pakistani public. So, if we evaluate all these situations and relations, the main thing is that though there are many efforts made time to time to improve relations, but all these proved short-lived. Basically, all these are short-lived because until and unless Kashmiris and those Muslims who are living in India cannot practice their religion freely, cannot live free lives, cannot live like respectable citizens, how Pakistan and Pakistanis can accept this thing that their Muslim brothers are in so much trouble and they remain quiet. So, this is the major reason of unfriendly relations between India and Pakistan. Mostly wars are also fought because of the cruel and unjust behavior of India with Muslims and especially Kashmiris, tortures of Kashmiris, and extremely worse conditions of Kashmiris living in their beautiful valley. So this is the evaluation. If Pakistan and India wants to improve their relations, India will have to accept Muslims' rights as normal, equal citizens and give them their rights for practicing their religion freely instead of burning their mosques and trying to convert Muslims by force into non-Muslims. So these were some times, and very rarely it is spoken about whenever there were friendly relations between two countries. So that is why we decided to discuss about it. Part two is going to discuss about the reasons of unfriendly relations between both of these countries. So we'll see you and discuss with you at that time. Hope you enjoyed and learned something from this, and subscribe the channel, share it with others that they may also be able to see this part of history. Thank you so very much. Take care of yourself.